Well, what would be ideal, I'm gonna hit record. Um, and then it's like, well, you could do it back and forth and like show off your screen based on something I'm looking at, right? Um, but well, is there a way to record on your end?
Yeah, I'm recording in my whatever this is called, Streamlabs I'm using.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can figure it out later. So if we're both recording, okay, so then let me definitely stop recording this. Sorry about the delay, guys. I'm gonna stop recording this. Probably completely useless. Okay, I'll figure that out one day. Okay, I'm gonna record here. I am recording. All right, cool. Welcome, welcome. Not a lot of people in here. Didn't expect there to be. Okay, just gonna review some tickers that look very nice. I'm gonna start with SFM, Sprouts Farmers Market. Um, like I mentioned earlier, I had been tracking this kind of inverted head and shoulders going on. It didn't do its full breakout, but that's very common. Kind of chopped around for a little bit. But here's what happened in the process. I remember when I was looking at this stock before, um, this, you know, volume profile, like point of control, was not this prominent, right? So there's been a lot of volume building here. So this is just turning into like deeper and deeper support, and I think why that matters and that makes this a pristine setup is, your risk to the downside is, minimized, right? Look at that candle. This is the weekly chart. Sometimes what I do is I'll take a look at the weekly and then see what it looks like on the monthly. Very nice candle, matches up. Probably looks better than ever. Look at the 3 day. So the 3 day seems like a little bit more contested. Still looks fantastic, right? But you can tell it has some competition here on the left. So a little bit of resistance. It's not like on the weekly chart, it kind of looks like it's just really going to take off. But on the 3 day, these weekly wicks to the upside, I feel like they're a little bit more prominent in how the candles are formed. And on the daily, same kind of thing where you could just, if you're not looking at the rest of this and you're looking at this as a range, it could be risky in terms of like you're at the top of the range, right? So it might want to come back down and maybe go up again. Still looks nice on a daily. A lot of people would trade this, but I think on the weekly chart is the one that mainly stands out to me. So what do I really like about this? Drawing from this AV WAP low, May 16th ish, the week of May 16th in 2022. This is a pretty deep retracement. Let's actually take a look real quick at some fibs just to have them. Get rid of this magnet. Get that top right there. So yeah, just from bottom to top, you're at the 618. If you were drawing from top to bottom there, you're at the 382. So 618, 382, very significant zone. So I think it's awesome that it closed above. I think it's awesome that the 618 is where the point of control is. Well, the point of control is like slightly below it. Lots of confluences here. This is my AV WAP resistance from the top, so maybe get a short-term pop here into 99-ish, maybe come back down a little bit, and I think that 786 would be the next target, which would kind of line up with all of this. So really, really like SFM. Last thing, oscillators. I usually don't have this SATI one up, but I was kind of taking a look at it last night. I experiment with it a little bit. I think it's a bit overrated in the way that people talk about it, but I do think it is cool to see your levels on the. Pretty sure it's an RSI or something RSI based. But yeah, all the oscillators on the weekly. As a matter of fact, the weekly MACD crossed a long time ago. Monthly hasn't even crossed. SRSI monthly hasn't like crossed in any way. The momentum is very high up. So it seems like you're still early. Look at the look on this guy right here. Really, really like this one. I think it's very, very solid. Google. Google is my favorite looking Mag 7 name right now. I love that my candle went blue, which is based on a few things. Obviously, would love for it to break out of this flag, but definitely Google on watch. I think it could be one of those tickers that you can just, this is kind of a thing once you go bullish again. You can trade in and out of a ticker, right? And then really have it on the top of your list and just say, I took out 50% on this on some calls. I'm going to ease up. Maybe it retraces back. You find a good zone again, take another 50%. That's how I would play Google. I don't play that many Mag 7 stocks, but I'm really liking Google. Can it drop back down again if the market turns bearish? Absolutely. But I do love that we cleared this AV WAP. I would have liked slightly more bullish candle close here. Kind of an uncertain candle, right? Would have liked the body to have at least, closed up here, but beggars can't be choosers in this market. Really, really liking Google. I'm sure there's a million other things to say about it, but just moving on. MDT, we're all talking about MDT. It's just solid. It's just a solid setup. I think the only thing to really look out for is this seems to be like a zone to watch out for. Could jump, kind of stop here, maybe come down to here. Do like a little chop if you were to draw two lines here, and then maybe go higher. But I do think this zone will be significant. And then what we're going to do is draw an AV WAP from here, and it matches up with the line. Perfect. So if you're not a big risk taker, maybe you want to see how it reacts here. Clear this line, turn it into support, and I think this guy could really get moving. But there's many other things to like about it. As a matter of fact, I found it off of some Gexy list. I think it had some of the most bullish maps moving forward, which I always like to say does not mean it's going to move in that direction. What it means is you have 50 million tickers to track, and you want to find stuff that at least, the highest concentration gamma nodes are pointed to the upside consistently, right? So you're able to filter down a lot of the tickers you're looking at, because you might look at a ticker and then you look at the gamma and there's like so much resistance overhead and, lots of bad nodes below. So you're taking a risk there. That's something that I just started doing, where it's like, let me start with these tickers, see what's going on, and then move into the chart, and then just kind of making a short list from those charts. So MDT did make the cut. This is fantastic right here. This means we're early. MACD cross early. You know, some guys who try to catch bottoms would say you're actually late. I'm already out by the time the MACD crosses, but that's where you really got to look at the chart as a whole and say, I think there's some possibilities to get into that 100 zone if you're bullish about it. So that's MDT. I know you're going to jump on that one. I just figured it's better for me to just kind of run through mine, and then we can kind of go back and forth. So Fig, I've been watching Fig quite a lot. Um, Missed this move up here, but I always said, you know what? I'm going to try to catch it at this red line. I think I did give it a chance. Didn't work out. Got out. Um, this was starting to look a little sloppy down here. As you see, I have the, like my left shoulder and my right shoulder. It's not perfect. It's not the proper pattern, but it is something I'm looking at. But, we are clearing it now. We are clearing this volume shelf here. There seems to be something significant here. As you can see, my red line, for whatever reason it was drawn, probably these 2 points. And then, these points seems like a significant line. It did not close above it. Doesn't mean too much. Still on watch. The sector is bullish, so sometimes it's good to continue watching a ticker in a sector that's kind of coming back to life. Fig is one of them. Is it in my top 5 things? It is not, but it's definitely one I'm watching. CLH, a little bit of regret not already getting in on Friday. It did. I was planning on drawing a line here. Haven't drawn it yet, but as you can see, kind of wicked below. So it might still be trying to figure out what it's going to do at the end of the day. This from 28 to 33 is a very nice move. Did it get to 35? Yeah, so Mike was talking about it. I saw the chart and was also liking it. There was some flow. And then when I made that list, that gamma list, it also popped in there. And so basically 35 across the board is like literally every single expiration. There's an MVP there, right? So like, most valuable position, most amount of gamma concentration. So definitely something to watch. But you also want to watch that 35 level for some resistance. Doesn't mean it can't clear it. Um, the chart is funky, right? This is just like an old line I had. Chart is a little bit funky. Just backstory. I what year is this? Yep, 2024. Um, I pretty much bought all of these dips and went very heavy, right? And I think when the candle was somewhere around here, like I suffered through this. I wasn't buying here. That would have been a disaster. But it was starting to kind of do a move. I was looking into it. So then I kind of just kept doubling down. By the time it came back, and I think I was like -9, -10% or something, I was out. And, lesson learned, it jumped really high, right? But interesting enough, it's right around that zone. So CLH for, 2 years now, this is a significant zone. I don't have this like extremely well mapped out or charted out. I'm just kind of looking. I've been looking. Oh, there you go. It's just very obvious to your eyes, right? You don't even need these indicators sometimes. But I mean, this is about as significant as it gets. This is uh pretty much where you want to come in. You don't have to come in all the way down here. This is where you want to start looking at the stock because it starts moving, right? It starts moving up, but then it's also crashed down from here. So I kind of just like this local trend line, how it popped up. There were other things I liked about it, but the gamma was nice, shows a lot of potential. This is a very nice pattern here. Uh, I like CLH quite a lot. I like that there's some flow behind it. Would like to see a little bit more volume, but really like it. Netflix, I hate this stock, um, but it is undeniably bullish. And I feel like whenever I hate something and it's undeniably bullish, sometimes I take it and it's like one of the best trades ever. So that's why I'm looking at Netflix because, I'm always coming at it from like a short mindset. I have successfully shorted it because I look at it from that mindset and I can actually look at it now and say this is looking pretty damn good once again in a bullish sector. I probably got to redraw some of this stuff. These are old boxes, but this old box definitely paid for anyone who was paying attention. um I mean, big time, right? Maybe you expected it to come to the bottom of this box, but you have these what is this called, tweezer bottom. You have a tweezer bottom on the weekly. You didn't have tweezer bottoms here, but notice how Netflix likes to do this, right? So you could have the potential of another yank down this week to then turn it into a hammer and then it goes on for weeks. You do have the potential for that, but this is just undeniably bullish. Weekly oscillators aren't really saying much. Neither are 3 days, meaning it's very early. The dailies are saying something, right? This thing was completely oversold. So I think it can move fast, actually, to be honest. I would not be surprised. So for instance, if I was just looking at it from a short lens again, I would set an alert up to 93 to 94 zone and be like, I might, want to buy some puts again there, right? So um, that is what I like about Netflix. It is a bit of a funky chart on a daily, but something's happening here. It's moving. I'm sure if you pull up other indicators, look at other stuff, maybe look at some options flow, you'll gain some confluences from that. I do like if you were to draw a line here, candles already above it. Let me look at one more thing. When I get a funky chart like this, I always want to make sure because this will see some stuff that my eyes can't see. Yeah, so this is exactly what my eyes saw. This is a significant zone, which is like a change of character kind of situation. Break below. One of the most bullish setups ever is the fake out change of character and the jump back up, right? So maybe this is just a prediction. Goes up 82, comes back down to retest this guy, comes up to this order block. So 89, to 91 TP1, and if you are very, very lucky, you climb all the way up here. But based on a lot of this volume going on here and this order block and just the chart in general, I definitely think Netflix moves into the 90 range within, by September or something. I'll look at some gamma stuff when I get the chance, but yeah. And then we do know Netflix is popular, so if it starts cranking, you're going to see that options flow. EMF, going to go over this one real quick. This is one of these that I've been studying for a long time. Yep, Netflix and chill. So this is I mean, you can see a tweet of mine somewhere around here saying, I'm not into catching falling knives, but if I chose one, I think EMF is a good candidate. I don't think it was the worst call of all time, especially when this candle came in. I think a few people hit me up, and I'm like, what are you going to do? How would I know that this candle would do that, right? They had some good earnings. I remember seeing that. Actually, I think they had good earnings all the way down except for that guy. In this zone, like they've been proving something to investors, and it's just, you could probably draw like a square here, a little rectangle. It's just in this zone right now. But here's what I like about EMF right now. Sure, I would I think this would be the ultimate catch right here, 37. I mentioned it to someone on the chat the other day, but I do like that locally from this bottom to this top. I got my little infamous fibs here. We have a larger fib 1272 all time. There's a lot of fib confluence going on here and how stocks like to retrace before they come back up again. And I'm seeing the beginning of a pretty structured, good Elliott wave formation. You got the trend line back test right here. I do think for the risk takers, as ugly as this looks on a monthly and on a weekly, look at that. One, two, three, four, five ugly weekly candles. But you got some ugly weekly candles here, and then you got kaboom, right? Ugly weekly candles here, kaboom. And then of course the AV WAP. Drawing from this AV WAP, if you were to average out these prices from the bottom, it's back there, right? Like easy way to put it. So I do like that. So is it a buy right now? Maybe not, unless this is something you're dying to own. What you want to do is zoom in, start looking at it from a local perspective, and hoping to see some strength here. I do think that obviously the safest spot is above 54 for long-term continuation, but you can go a little more granular too here and say, well, let me at least see it, clear this top wick and this bottom wick, which would probably be around, 44, 45, I think would be good. Or even the AV WAP, clearing above the AV WAP and closing substantially would be nice for this one. So moving on from EMF, you know what? I'm going to take a break here and come back to the rest of the tickers if you want to hop in. I think that would be fair.
Sure.
Just before we do that, I know there's not many people signed on. Any questions on any particular tickers, guys? Anyone who's on here? The ones that I laid out, or which is your favorite one from Google, SFM, MDT, Fig, CLH, Netflix, and EMF? All right, we got none. MDT. Okay, cool. All right, man, take it away.
All right. I'm sharing my screen. I was walking through those as well with you. I kind of want to
Awesome.
start top down real quick. So Dow Jones, 200-day highs. It's making all-time highs. This is my chart here. You can see we're currently in price discovery, but we're above the value range, value highs. We're above the volume pocket, and probability, I think it goes higher. We'll see. I'm not positioned that way, but what I think matters more is let's look at what's in the Dow Jones, what's the highest weighting, and then play in those sectors. So financials, industrials, healthcare. Pretty much every name I show will be in that bucket, and then drilling down from there. So first off, this is all just things from my scanners. ATR, I really like this one. We just printed a 50-day high. We had a confirmation of a squeeze, which we got this massive wick down, hammered, held, consolidated higher, kind of passed through this whole volume range. I can draw all of them, but it's pretty much just what I see when I look at anything. So we're above this huge volume pocket. That's point of control. We're in low volume. So if it can stick this here, in my opinion, it's likely it breaks 129, and then we would be looking for 100-day highs and then eventually 200-day highs. The only concern here is that RSI is already chopping here. I'd like to get it before that move happens, ideally. So this is a watch list, not something I would enter directly. And then I would be watching the 4 hour to get tactical in that. Next is, and I believe this is an industrial. Next is BCRX. No, sorry, that is a trading bot. Let me close that. This is a biotech. Let's go to the weekly. So on every chart, I always have the time-based VWAPs. They exponentially grow as we zoom out. So instead of 1 year, I believe it's 5, and everything just transitions that way. I use time as we've talked before, but similar idea here. So a lot of consolidation, 50-day high, broke. I don't like that it didn't peak above this, but that's fine. And it's looking to consolidate above 9. So I would watch that. You can see RSI on the top. Explosion, consolidated, held that 45.50, peaked up to 60. I would like to see it kind of just do this and then position accordingly for that higher move if it
Can I
comes.
ask you something?
Yep.
Um, how are you using? So I've messed with hundreds of indicators. There's ways that I can visualize squeezes.
Hmm.
How? Because I'm even looking at where the squeezes came in, and so like some of them are good, some of them are not so good. Typical indicators, right? Um,
Hmm.
but how exactly are you using it? Because obviously they're important to you. Because you
Yeah.
could put a million things there, and you're putting the squeeze state.
Yeah. So this is
Like,
I built the indicator on the bottom.
mm-hmm.
It's like 3 or 4 indicators combined, and the idea is I'm looking for
Oh, I didn't know
consolidation.
that.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking for consolidation above point of controls, and then I want to see it in a very tight range. And because volatility always mean reverts, and it always mean reverts in one direct in a direction. It's either bullish or bearish, right? Price
Right.
doesn't have to mean revert. That's when price discovery happens, but volatility does. So if I can be a part of those moves, and you can see, like, there's some examples of, like, here, it's quick in essence, but like the second we got above this value range here, you rip. This is $10 to $18. Like, that's material enough to do some damage, and you do this a few
Mm-hmm.
times, you're good. So that's kind of the structure. And specifically, like here, this huge volume is now on the top 50% of this huge range. This thing has been in a range since 1995. So eventually it breaks out, or it's going to do what it's always done, bounce above this value high and then give it all back, right? And so the intention is just to be involved in that move and hopefully stay in it until it reverses, if it does. But
Yeah.
RSI looks relatively good here. Main indicators, the squeeze indicator below is a form of MACD, Bollinger Bands, and RSI all together, and then there is some volume measurements in there. And then on top, I just use a standard RSI, and then my VWAPs that are date ranged.
So would you ever enter into anything where your squeeze state, um, do you have a name for it, the indicator?
Oh yeah, I call it the Pinch Pro. I just didn't share
Okay.
it, but yeah.
Okay. So would you ever enter into anything? Well, I guess two-part question where your pinch pro is not lined up with how you usually enter, and where is it in any way an entry signal, or is it one of those things? Because I have some indicators where it's like I like to see that it's in my direction, or are you actually like saying, all right, I got some green, I'm in?
Yeah, so I'm testing that. I'm actually working on back testing it for a signal parameter. Right now, it's a guide for me. I want
Hmm.
to see if when the green prints, if that is always going to, signal. And I
Hmm.
have had some success on that. I think Hims was the most recent. This green, it's a 4 hour indicator. So this green dot here is the signal. And then we ran from the 30 to 37, 38. So that is what, in essence, I'm trying to catch, what I want to be backtesting, and then I'm trying to create a model to do that.
Sweet.
But uh, right now, it's just something I view. I do enter things if it's not perfect, right? Because price action's messy. It's an indicator. It's not an absolute source of truth, and it's our job to manage risk around things. So if it's not perfect, like I could still want to be in this whole move, right? That it's consolidating, it's reversing, and then goes green. That's still potentially like right here. Uh,
Yeah.
there's options, of course. The market
Cool.
can be messy, so
Oh yeah.
okay. Where was
Yeah,
I at?
everything can, like, in this recent market, literally everything can tell you by the chart, the flow, the gamma, every single thing, and then the next day it's down 20%.
Yeah, I think what was it? VFC. This was one that I was getting signals and it went the opposite way, right? So there's no way to predict if it's going to be bullish or bearish. It's just telling you price is consolidated. It'll resolve somewhere. Um, and so it ended up resolving lower and it could go lower. But then you zoom on the daily, you're like, well, buyers have stepped in here recently multiple times. So this little $2 move was what was on the scanner. I don't really care about that. I don't want to be involved there. But this is a recent back test I was running, and this we found.
Well, just I've never seen this chart before, but if you look at that, what is it, late October high, um, we're back in, like,
Yeah, here.
retesting that. Yeah, so this is a significant, I mean, this is a buy spot, right? Like, this is
Yeah, and you zoom out
the buy
further.
zone. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And so then, depending on time horizon, like this is a great area to manage risk around, right?
right.
If you want to be involved and your risk tolerance is in line with it, you could be involved. Is it likely it might undercut this range here? I would think so, because buyers are always looking to get a good deal, and you're already at that point of control. So if you were to fail this or wick in, I would assume it to come out. If not, you probably chop here, maybe wick here, and then continue back. But that is the I kind of always think sideways until we get that move, like that squeeze move out of the value highs. So my scanners are looking for price above value highs or above point of control. Like
Hmm.
I want to be involved in this top half and find it as it goes that way,
Right.
right? Um, and that's kind of what I believe this MDGL is.
Heard of this one.
Personally, I don't know anything about most of the companies that I look at or trade at all. This is a little too expensive for me to be honest, and I don't like this huge red volume.
Right.
Honestly, just seeing this, I wouldn't even look at it further, even if it was on the scanner. I'm just like, something doesn't feel right about it. I'll just
Yeah, it
watch list it
looks
and wait.
yeah, it looks like it's like doing like one of those triangles where you're at the top right now and it could come lower.
Yeah,
Um, but it is tightening up there. I mean, there's a triangle there, right?
yeah,
I can
absolutely.
see it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And
tightening
RSI
up
doesn't
there.
look terrible, so just something to watch. Uh,
Yeah.
and then I have AVTR. So this is pretty much a bread and butter trade of the squeeze I would be looking for. As we zoom in on the 4 hour, you can see all these signals are hitting. Anytime it's shaded down here with the green dots, it's triggering something. And then we finally get that flip from red to green, and it goes 9 to 1050, not super material, but I would be zooming out and looking, okay, well, is this a healthy consolidation? Absolutely. 50-day highs. We're in a gap and holding, likely go touch 11 and then continue higher, hopefully. But there
Well,
is major
that
resistance above. So,
yeah, that chart is classic market structure right there.
yep,
Got a little double bottom kind of action, broke that structure, kind of did like a little bit of a retest, but then keeps flagging out, right?
yep,
It's solid. It's a nice structure. I think it goes up to that 11 point for sure.
yep. Yeah, and then right. So, buyers and right, auction market theory is stating that buyers and sellers want to transact from low volumes to high volumes and vice versa. It's a range. So, it would make sense that price goes to here and then potential resistance. If it gets bought up here, well, what would your next area be? Most likely 13, and
Mm-hmm.
then so forth. It kind of just stair steps. That's why those things exist that way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I got? And not every name in here that I'm in, but some of them I am in. Uh, just going through things that I think are relevant. This is a soup company, right? Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup. So who would thought
Yeah,
that's squeezing right now? But it is. So
a chart like this, like if you zoom out, just lets me know how wrecked my high beta stocks are getting right now.
yep, yeah, it's
Like, I
wild,
mean,
right?
it's a defensive name. If a defensive name's moving up like that, you're getting crushed.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a similar thing, right? Break value highs, consolidate, hold. In that move, you zoom out. Where's it likely to go? Is this a top or is this just a little dead cat bounce? We'll see. But something I think that's tradable. Yeah, that's an
I
extreme
like it.
amount of volume on the monthly.
Oh yeah.
That is
Oh yeah.
astronomical. Seeing that, I haven't seen that yet. That is nuts.
Yeah, you could make the argument that like, the high momentum stocks can still move up while Campbell's moves up just because it looks like it was a little overdone, right? It might just be
Yeah,
coming back into like its $30 range because it should have just never gone so low. It looks a little bit extreme.
yeah. Bounce to 30, chop around.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it would make sense that institutions are buying a 7% dividend stock on a discount and they're acquiring,
Right.
20 million shares, et cetera, of it. I'd be
Hmm.
interested what the dark pool is on this to see if there's any. I don't have
Hmm.
access to that, but maybe that's something we could look into after.
Yep.
What else do I got? HLN.
Can you actually take a look real quick since we're on? It's the same sector. CAG, CAG. My friend is in CAG, and like I looked at it the other day.
Oh yeah,
It's the same
very
chart.
similar.
It's the
Very
same
similar.
chart.
Same volume, explosion. Yeah, everything. Um, Let me see. Yeah, this looks good too. I don't like this sell, but buyers reversed it immediately. So that's a
Right.
little dip. And the average buyer for the 1 month or the 1 month and the 3 month are both green. So if you can get past this little 1450, 1475 ledge,
Hmm.
I don't see why 16 wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, it might be good to if you're into actually like diversifying your swing portfolio, just grab your favorite one of these because like there's like the Colgates, and stuff like that.
In
But
9% dividend.
Campbell's did look good.
Yeah. So let me see what else I got. CRISPR's another one. I really, really like this one. Biotech,
Yeah,
obviously, I've been pounding the table on biotechs. This had a
it's
great
like a
day.
it's a bit of a
Yeah,
tempest. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so crazy consolidation. on the weekly, base on base formed. This is kind of getting a little premature, but I like that we are in this huge range and holding it. I just need price to go higher, right? To really feel confident in the long swinging this longer term. But you got the 50-day high, it peaked above this previous and held, closed strong. So we just need to hold the 56, and then I would be targeting 68, 70s.
CRISPR's Chinese, right?
No idea. Uh,
Yeah, I think they're Chinese, like genomics Chinese. No, am I making that up?
Switzerland
Oh,
headquarters, but
Switzerland. Oh,
yeah, I don't really pay attention to what any of the companies do. I don't look where they're at. I just price action and pretty much drives everything. Um, that's something I've actually been trying to work on this year is focusing solely on the system and not
right,
like my separating my thesis from the system because I can do both and make this is the system. An investment thesis is separate, like something like long-term Bitcoin buying or something like that. But
right.
um, this isn't also. I think I posted this one. This is textbook. What I love to see, and it worked very well. So volume was on the lower 50% of this range. Price consolidated above, held, and then continues to go. Breaks higher. You see we had 50-day highs, a gap up and hold. Oh my goodness. A gap up and hold, 100-day highs, 200-day highs, wick into this range, and then hammer back out. And we never undercut that 21. So overwhelming buying pressure. You can see huge volume nodes are stepping in. People are defending it, and then we are currently I think we just peaked above this gap, and we'll most likely fill it. I don't know if we'll fill these other two. That would be crazy, but with XLV or yeah XLV with healthcare at all-time highs, is it unlikely? I don't think so. We'll see, because usually healthcare fails, but right now this is relatively strong for what's going on.
If you go back to what was it, ACHC?
Yep. Uh,
Can you put it up as a weekly chart? I mean, that's just like your classic, it's not your textbook. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's, you got your left shoulder and your right shoulder right there, and you got
yep.
your head. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the same exact concept.
That's
It's
that's
just
a
different ways of painting the picture.
this is my number one favorite chart by a mile that you have shown so far.
Yeah, this was
Like
it's
easy,
going well.
easy, easy, long.
Yep,
Easy long.
absolutely.
And what's
Um,
funny is that RSI right up there, like if you go to the monthly chart, like, yep. So
Perfect.
yeah, that weekly RSI, when you start seeing it doing that and people are like, oh, it's overbought. Well, actually, things are about to get way more overbought when it starts kind of
Yep,
like really jumping up like that. Like it can get a little crazy. But yeah, I like it going to that line. So basically right now you have a neckline breach, like a confirmed weekly
yep,
neckline. Yep.
absolutely.
So I mean the measured move, like I mean from visually, the measured move is back to all time highs. Doesn't mean it's gonna hit, but looks like that's what it would
Yep.
do. Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I love charting and everything. But like so if we just view it from this, if the average buyer, if all the volume is down here in the bottom 50%, it shouldn't be very difficult if the overall market structure in a macro environment is supporting it for price to just go this way. Because the average buyer is making money, so they're going to add to their position and take it to all-time highs. Right? That would be
Right.
trying to get into this whole range is the ultimate trade. But and huge volumes. I mean, look at that. That's just insane compared to where it was before. Like this little, that's nothing compared to what just came in. So,
I like it.
um, what else do I got?
You know
I
what?
can.
I like it so much. I'm gonna add it to my list.
I've went through a few of them. I want to show a trade that bit me in the ass, so we can all be 100% honest and transparent. That
Oh,
It
if we did that, we would need till midnight.
it doesn't always
So
work out.
yeah.
So I I got completely clobbered on, I don't remember what day it was that Snapchat released the
Oh yeah.
freaking glasses or whatever, but we were in this chop range, and because I'm probably more risky than some people than I should be, I was building a position, getting ready, and then that news broke and just completely obliterated me. I got stopped out, of course, but um, that is the system. I wanted to show that too. That was a
But
recent pain
that
point.
was a good that was still a good long, you know? Don't feel bad.
Yeah, it happens,
That
right? And we
yeah.
know we have positive expectancy on the system, so we just have to trade that. So this was the buying range. Um, who would have known the future that their CEO would create the worst product in existence and completely obliterate their company? So it is what it is, unfortunately. But
I saw I got a pop on Friday, so I see
yes,
it there.
yeah, it's and it, I would hope so, right? I mean, it's, they're not going out of business. $3 could go to six. There could be money made now, maybe, but
No, man, kids are using this stuff every single day. It kind
absolutely.
of blows my mind, but they are really using it.
Yeah, that's probably I have a bunch more, but that was the majority I wanted to show. If you wanted to take back over.
Awesome, great job. If I exit out of here, okay. Ooh, I'm getting better at this, guys. All right. Thank you again. Paul, whatever. Palladium. This is another one of those been watching for a long time, and let me tell you something about those. Every time I do that and decide to just continue watching, like something like this ends up here before I know it, right? So there's just something I like about the Palladium chart. It's hard to explain. I mean, some of it is a little bit obvious. You know, you got this like zero point 0.5 fib here, and I drew this little box with these wicks here, and